The next thing we're going to do in the lab today is we're going to make a 3% washed cell suspension. So for that, we are going to grab the patient sample. We need the cells for this. I'm going to grab a 12 by 75 tube. What we're going to do is write on the tube the last name, the first 3 digits of the last name, and then WC. Now, I know wherever this tube lands, if for some reason I've got multiple racks out and I put it in the wrong rack, I know that I have got this patient's washed cells. So we're going to label it. We always label it across the top like this, so when it's in our rack, we can actually see what it is. I'm going to get my BioSquare and I'm going to pop this lid off. Now, it's already been off, so at this point, my air cells are probably in pretty good shape. But right now, I still am going to keep it there so it stays clean. I'm going to squeeze my pipette bulb. I'm going to go in. I'm going to pull up some cells, and I'm just going to put a couple of nice big drops into that tube. And then I'm going to put it back and get rid of those cells. We don't ever throw away a pipette full of cells. We don't want to ever do that. Cells, plasma, things like that, we always put them back in to make sure we're not wasting any. Put that back in my container. Put the lid back on because as of right now, I'm done with this guy. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to grab my bottle of saline and I'm going to forcibly squirt my saline into the bottom of this. Now, when I'm squirting, I want to hear this psh sound because I want to hear those cells tumbling around like in a washing machine, because what we're doing is we're washing away all the fibrinogen, the plasma proteins, all the things that are blocking the binding sites on those cells. So when we put our antiseras with them, we're good to go. So I'm going to go in and we're going to do this. Did you hear that? That's what I'm looking for. So I've got it this full. It's a little fuller than I like it to be, but you know, these tubes are small. You can also note that the cells are off the bottom, so I know I got a good wash. Now on this tube, I'm going to write B-A-L-A-N-C-E. Remember, you should never have any tubes in your rack, even if it's just a balance tube, without it being labeled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up to about the same amount with my saline. And you can see they're pretty close. And I'm going to move them over into my Serafuge. And I'm going to put them across from each other. We're going to balance them in the Serafuge. Make sure they're across from each other. We're going to close it. Now I'm washing it, so we're on 02, and you can see I did fix this one. I'm not sure what that D6 was before, but I fixed it. 02, and I'm going to hit start, and the Serafuge is going to run. Okay, speed is coming down. It hits 0. The lid's going to automatically pop up here in a minute. It's going to start making a lot of noise, telling us it's done. So I have my balance tube that I'm going to put back in the rack, and I've got my patient sample, and you can see it's got the cells on the bottom. It's got a little bit of cloud stuff. That's okay. We're going to take it and we're going to dump it into our bucket with a disinfectant. Some cells come out. That's okay. It's going to happen. That's why after the class we wash it so well. So then I'm going to give it a nice shake, make sure that cell button is off the bottom, and now we're going to add saline. Oops, so I hit the tube. We're going to add saline up until it's about a 3% suspension. When you're wondering, oh, is it a 3% suspension or not? These guys are all at a 3%, so you can go ahead and pull them out. Make sure you go up and down a few times in the pipette. Try to leave them in the racks when you're using them, but you can kind of hold them together, and those look pretty close. So that looks like a nice 3% suspension. You can hold it up to the light to see how it looks, but that looks good. Make sure to put the lids back on reagents, as they are very expensive and we don't want to lose them.